We have breaking news to tell you about. Police have just called an all-out manhunt for a driver who was pursued by police to Pacoima. He bailed out of his truck and ran.
He was armed with a gun and that he was threatening.
The gangs are fighting a war over turf, drugs, and money.
Got some fun around here. Happy birthday, Lorenzo. Happy day, happy week, happy month, happy year, and a happy life to you. This is my son.
Come on, I want to ask you guys some questions. And when did you guys start breakdancing? And how'd you guys get into this?
My dad?
Yeah.
My childhood was a rocky one. My parents come from a hard background, you know, kind of the hood, the ghetto. They tried their best raising me and my brothers. My mom is, I think, the glue that held everything together. Sometimes my mom had to be the bad guy because my dad would be with us dancing and stuff. So now looking back, like as a kid, you're always like, oh, why? Like, you know, why is she doing that? Or why, you know, why is she not going with the flow too? But now that I look back, I'm so grateful, and it's amazing because she's teaching me and my brothers and my sisters, you don't have to be a product of your environment if it's negative, you know. My father was a b-boy in the 80s, was a gang member at one point, and he turned his life around as soon as he had his kids, and he realized that, you know, if maybe he had someone who guided him because he didn't have a father growing up, that he might have turned out a little bit different when it came to like the gang aspect and that part of his life. So he made sure to push the fact that he saw that his kids had interest in hip hop, so he just kept running with it and he kept us involved, and he wouldn't only keep us involved, he would keep our friends involved and whoever else he's seen that kind of needed that guidance.
Well, I feel very blessed that I am around for my children, and also that my children took interest in a dance that I did over 13, 14 years ago.
My dad went into a coma. He was in a coma for 2 weeks and a half, and then he passed away. I was 15, and it happened out of nowhere, and it was just very life-changing. My dad, he believed things happen for a reason, you know? He meant the world to me and my family. And like, when he passed away, it was like everyone died. And with dancing, like, it really like brought us back to life, you know? Like, it kind of reminded us like, you know, all right, like things could get better and like things will get better. That's, I think, a big factor of what motivated me to sharpen my skills, because the people around me were so good and so talented that instead of being depressed about my father's death and taking it as a negative and a blow, like I'm gonna take what happened in my life and just flip it on its head and just use that as so much motivation to get where I need to be in life. Dancing always was on my mind, and even though I had other things and, you know, goals and aspirations I wanted to achieve, you know, just dancing was always that one that like I was like, I have to do it. My experience in Uganda with the kids was amazing. Like this. Seeing those kids in their conditions that they're in, being so happy, and they didn't need anything else in the world, just each other. You know, I just seen how they had an understanding of life and how people are supposed to be treated, and so it motivated me a lot with what I'm doing back home.
Good afternoon, class.
The GR818ERS is a community outreach program that reaches the youth through the tools of hip hop. That's what I do every day. Like my dance and with our dance and with what we're doing with the GR818ERS is being spread out through communities and through the world, you know? Being involved in your community is important, right? Regardless of where you're at in life. Dance is such universal language that like I know it's necessary in my community, and the reason I think it's important is because I feel like every community and every city and state and place across the world needs something like this, and just know that there's other people who are going through stuff and still trying to remain positive and still following their dreams and their goals, you know, like not just giving up. I would hope that my legacy I left behind when I'm gone from this place, this earth, would be that I lived my life to help people.